our LinkedIn profiles, just to see where they are in terms of our personal brand. So, and I believe we'll just start. I see a few people have already joined. Those others will just find us on our way. But thank you so much once again for joining this morning. So, without much further ado, I'll want to ask a big question. What is personal branding to you? Ama, what have you done? Or in terms of you branding yourself as either an employee or as a job seeker, for example, if you're looking for a job, or as a consultant, if you're doing gigs online, how are you positioning yourself? So that's where I'll want to start this morning. So where or what efforts are you doing in that space of personal branding? Anyone, any ideas? You can put it on the chat box. You can just raise your hand. I'll give you an opportunity to give us your thoughts, and then we continue. So, what are you doing in the space of personal branding, or how are you positioning yourself to be marketable, to be seen? Because with personal branding, it also calls a lot of visibility. Or how are people viewing you? Or just when you say purity, what comes to people's mind there and then? So, as I wait to get more of your comments on the chat box, let's see, but let's continue. So, we'll start with one big quote. I love quotes because they somehow make or bring the topic closer home. So this one is by Jeff Bezos. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So anytime you think about personal branding, you need to be asking yourself, what are people saying about me when I'm not there? Then that will make you want to create an image, or now the personality or the brand that people are able to easily associate you with. So, and we'll go straight into defining. So the way I've modeled this webinar this morning, we've also had your feedback. A lot of people asking if we can extend the webinar a bit. So yes, so today we'll be looking at 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes to 1.5 hours. So let's see how that will go. So the first part is the presentation. The good thing about this webinar for personal branding, also we'll do a bit of examples. We'll see a few CVs, what they've considered. We'll see a few LinkedIn profiles, what they've considered. We'll see also cover letters, what to consider. So it's a bit practical in its sense, but engage me as and when you can. Ask questions as we go, and then we'll see how we'll go on. So the first question will come to your mind this morning is, what is this personal branding they're talking about? Because whenever you hear about a brand is something that is on top of your mind. It's, for example, if I ask you, what is a cooking oil? So depending on the brand that you use at home, some people say Elianto, some people say Ufuta, some people will say, if it's maize meal, some people say Jogo, because that is the brand. If you say maize flour, they associate it with Jogo, for example, or EX. Or if you say a washing soap, some people will automatically say Omo, yet Omo is a brand, and it's not, as much as there are many other washing powders in the market. But when you say a washing powder, for example, Omo will come on top of the mind. So you see that correlation. So the same case will apply to people. So when, for example, you say a trainer, the first word should come to your mind. It's either purity or ACCUREX, because now we've branded ourselves as a training company. So a brand is something that makes you unique, especially as a profession. Uh, a brand is something that will give you a story. It has your reputation in it. And today, a lot of things are going very digital. So you also need to ask yourself, what is my digital voice saying about me? The pages that you like, the people that you follow, the comments that you're leaving online, what are they saying about your brand? So how or what now builds up this brand? Because brand is, as we've said, it's what comes on top of people's mind when they hear about you, you know. So a few things will come into play when it comes to building your brand. Number one is the values. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What are your principles? You know, and then the other one is expertise. What are you good at from a professional point of view? So, for example, I'm good in HR, but the best part of HR that I'm good at is learning and development. So, and then what is your personality? When you talk about personality, is what uh, what characteristics will go about you? How do you communicate? What is the energy that you give that people are able to relate to your personality? And then again, now your online presence, because today and more than ever before, anytime I hear a name or a word, the first thing I'm curious to do is to Google them. So you see, so if you talk about Purity and Jiro, people will be busy with Googling Purity and Jiro. Even before you finish your introduction, they've already have a preconceived idea of who you are from an online perspective. So these four things will ideally make up what your brand is all about. And however, you need to be also very careful how you curate all these things to be able to give the correct brand that you want people to think or associate you with. All right. So there below I had said your brand is not just what you say about yourself, is what others experience when they encounter you. So for example, if you talk to me on phone, there's a personality you'll have already preconceived about me. So it should be the very same even when I meet you in person. But some people, and this one has been going on around online a lot, the celebrities that we love and cherish, they're totally different people when we meet them in person. Because why is that there a dislink? Because online or on our TVs or on our phones, they've created this brand, but then it quickly gets disassociated with them when you are able to meet these people in person. And that ideally should not be the case. So, why does personal branding matter? Why would you spend so much time and effort to create this brand that people need to be associating you with? And today, personal branding is more important than ever before. You know, like I want to assume, like 20 years ago, the internet was not very well spread out. But now, if everyone has some sort of access to internet and they're able to quickly link these different brands with you, or not associate them with you. So, number one, your personal brand will exceed or it will go before even your CV. Because assume I've called in some presenters. So even before we see their resume, remember we've already Googled you, we've checked you on LinkedIn. So even before you tell me you've graduated with a master's in what or a degree in what, I've already seen who you are from an online perspective. All right. So it is important because even before you present your papers, your documents, there's already a preconceived notion about you. And then with personal branding, you're able to quickly build trust even before you present your credentials. And that is very similar. So because of the voice that you're projecting online or the reputation that you've created around you, that one I'm able to trust faster than even before you give me your documentation. And then it also helps just not just to chase, but also to attract opportunities. So, for example, if I see a lot of times when we are headhunting, we'll definitely go to LinkedIn, say we are looking for this person, we're looking for a sales manager working in an FMCG environment. So you see, that is our first instinct. So, however best you've positioned yourself, then you're able to attract these opportunities coming to you. And then it future proofs your career because remember, with personal branding, it's not a one day event. So the reputation you've built over time, it it keeps adding over and over and above what you've already created today. And that is why sometimes I feel so bad. Like I see some personalities online, they've built their brands for so long, then one small scandal throws everything off for them. And then I see, and sometimes most majority of these people are not able to bounce back to the reputation they had already pre-created. Why is that the case? Because once a reputation is tarnished, it becomes so hard for you to bring it back. So you need to be very cautious and very cautious and very calculated on also how you're building your brand and also protecting your brand, such that no one small incident might bring or water down all the efforts that you've already done. So coming to talking about personal branding, and it's the new age. We have AI, we have ATS. People are not paying enough attention to things or matters. So how do we sort all of that out? Because remember, especially when we come to talk about personal branding from a professional point of view, let me ask: how many seconds or how much time do you think a recruiter will spend on your CV if you applied for a job? I think I'd like to throw that question to the floor. How much time do you think a recruiter will spend on your CV if you applied for a job? Anyone, you can put either minutes, seconds, then we see. All right. So, to your surprise, a recruiter will only spend about 8, 10 seconds on your CV. So you see, that's a very short time. 2 to 3 minutes. Hey, Joanne, we don't have 2 to 3 minutes to look at CVs. We have microseconds, And that means whenever I see your CV, it needs to quickly stand out. I need to see what I'm looking for within the microseconds I've allocated to your CV. Because remember, even in the age of AI, ATS, and all of this, there's still the part of human contact that will come to play at some point. So, and that human part, and now remember, you're also fighting with attention deficiency. We're now used to scrolling, So I'll not be very keen to read into details, but I need to see what I'm looking for in the very shortest time possible. But before I get there, let's go through some of these terminologies. There's ATS. ATS is applicant tracking system. Today, a lot of our applications, we're doing them online. We're no longer sending CVs to email addresses. We are applying through a system of some sort. We are no longer dropping CVs at offices or in a box somewhere. Thank God for that, because I started my HR practice when people are dropping off CVs in a box. And you can imagine you had to read all those CVs just to pick the correct one. But today, at a click of a button, I'm able to also easily shortlist. And then there's AI. AI is also helping us shortlist candidates. So you need to ask yourself, is even my CV, is my LinkedIn profile, is my cover letter even aligned that is able to be read by an AI system? So I talked about recruiters reading CVs for less than 8 seconds. Your LinkedIn profile, I don't need to look at it twice. So once I go in, I need to see exactly what I'm looking for before I move on to the next. And then your online presence often matters more than your qualifications alone. And and I know you'll keep asking yourself, why do I need to really work on my online presence? And I've seen a lot of even my friends, they over time they've stopped posting on Facebook, on Instagram, just to protect their professional brand that is associated with them. So a reality check, and this is very true. Only 75% of CVs that are sent to us gets filtered out by an ATS system. So imagine if you applied for a job and you are 100 of you, only 25 of them will be shortlisted. And remember, this one is a system. No person has even seen your CV, but already you have a 25% chance. And then recruiters are busy skimming, scrolling, swiping through your profile. and they'll not give it attention until maybe something strikes out to them. So, how you present your CV, how you present yourself on LinkedIn will create a quick, fast impression, and I'll need to pick an interest from there. Then what ATS and AI are looking for is keywords. So, and this one you have to be very keen and intentional about, especially when you're writing your CV, that you strategically place keywords. All right. So, as you go on with the presentation, I'll show you a few CVs I've shortlisted just for this presentation. Your CV has to be very clean format, no tables, no headers, no footers. Do not bring complicated designs. It needs to be very readable. You need to use titles that are also relatable, because I know, very especially the new age, we have very nice, exciting job titles. I see customer service representatives today are called customer happiness executives. So you see, these are words that are good to say or pronounce, but are not recognizable in the job market. So you need to, as much as that is the role that you currently have at your workplace, but when you're writing your CV or you're coming up with like for example on LinkedIn, you need to put job titles that are easily relatable in the job market, and then have clear employment dates, start date, end date. They need to be clear, because with ATS they're also able to quickly pick up your tenure is the amount of time you've worked in a certain role. So for example, if I say I'm looking for someone with 8 years of experience, an ATS system needs to pick that from your CV. So if you said you started working in 5th June 2018 to currently is 2025. So you see that is 6 years. So an ATS can quickly pick that just based on the dates that you've put on your CV. Then, especially make sure you have an achievement section on your CV that is measurable. Measurable is quantifiable. Say, I increased sales by 25%. That is quantifiable. Other than saying I increased sales when I was working for company XYZ in the last 2 years. So you need to be able to put a number to it. Then the other one, or what makes you not get shortlisted? Uh, Putting fancy fonts on your CVs, images, graphics. I've talked about the job titles, marketing ninja. Yes, it's very nice to read, but it's not a recognizable job title in the market. And also, the way you save your CV, others, you don't use the correct extensions. So, preferably, especially if you are applying for a job online, use a PDF format. That one, it's easily readable by an ATS system. So, what will make you stand out from all these AI algorithms and all of that? So, make sure when you're working on your CV, it's very keyword rich. I'll talk about keywords at some point as we progress. But your CV needs to have, normally on my part, I call them trigger words. So, you see, for example, if I'm a HR, my trigger words will be recruitment, compensation and benefits, uh, turnover rate. So you see, those are keywords that will go with a HR job. So, for example, if you are a sales job, your keywords will be revenue generation, customer centric, customer satisfaction. So you see, depending on the role that either you're applying for, or the role or the work that you do, you need to be able to know what are the trigger words that you also need to use in your CV. Then the other one is start with a personal pitch line. Personal pitch line, this one I like, other than saying, oh, I'm a HR, have 10 years of experience. So you can start with purpose driven project manager. So you see, that is catchy, even for if you put it on your CV, that is going to be catchy. Then the other one is delivering $5 million plus cost saving. So you see, you're using catchy words just to make sure you get picked up out of the many resumes that you're getting. Then use micro study instead of generic duties. This one I really liked because I see a lot of people normally would say under roles and responsibilities section on your CV, you will ideally say, I work as my work involves recruiting people within 60 days, for example. But you see, if you go with a micro case study, that will you'll say, in the past 1 year, I have recruited 20 roles, 20 senior executive roles. So you see, you're almost using like a case study or like storytelling instead of using generic job roles and descriptions. This I like this idea of adding a QR code. So this QR code could, if I scan it as a recruiter, it will either lead me to your LinkedIn profile. It could lead me to maybe a video bio you've put for yourself or a personal website. Today personal websites are becoming very popular, so that is also maybe something you might want to consider, just putting as a small personal website for yourself, just explaining who you are, your skills, your competency, what you're able to do for other people. And then you also need to leverage AI tools, because today we have so many AI tools from ChatGPT. I see there's Leonardo, there's Copilot by Microsoft. So just leverage these AI tools to make sure to be able to refine your personal brand, whether it's on LinkedIn or on your CV or now on the personal website. So these are some of the things that you can do also. You can create a LinkedIn console. So console is where you have, like, you create different slides just to explain who you are. So page one could be, welcome, this my name is Purity, this is my competency, I have number of years of experience. So all of this, you put them in different slides that will make it attractive for the audience. So for example, if I visit your LinkedIn profile, that will be the first thing I see on top of your page. And then you need to join professional groups that are very specific to your industry. So, for example, like me in HR, you'll find I'm in almost all HR groups around, because either way, that is where my prowess is very active at. And then, especially now in the age of technology, you need to also show that you're making effort from a technological point of view. So you could say, I'm doing a small course from Google about AI driven data analytics, or I'm doing a short course on ATS, for example, if you're in HR. So you see, all of these is what will make your personal branding stand out. Because I don't think the future is for those who will not be tech savvy. So what are you doing at your own point at this point to make sure that you're tech savvy? So let's now go to creating a CV. What will make your CV stand out? So, and remember, your CV is just a document that ideally needs to be very relevant, highly updated. Do not use a CV that you used for the last 5 years. At least you could be making a personal goal to yourself, like every 3 to 6 months, you need to be updating your CV. Because also remember, skills keep changing. uh, Dynamics also in the marketplace keeps changing. So what are you doing to make sure that your CV also remains relevant? So a few things, I'll go section by section, and then I'll show you a few CVs just to get my point home, and then we can continue with the discussion. So number one, your CV needs to have a proper header contact information. And I see a lot of people make mistakes. Either they don't use updated email addresses, or you even forget to put your phone number, which I think it's so unfortunate. So make sure your name is there, your email address is there. Do not use the email address when the one that you opened when you first opened an email from years ago. I see people saying chicsgirl@gmail.com, and that is the one you're trying to apply a job with. So I at least make an effort, maybe open a more professional email. So it could just be your name, purity.wanjiru@gmail.com, or purity, some numbers, @gmail.com. So make sure your email also is is professional in its sense, also remember to include your LinkedIn profile URL on your CV, because that makes my work easy as a recruiter. Just to click on it and it sends me to LinkedIn. Then we go to the professional summary. This one, do not ignore it. And your professional summary should be a summary of everything that you've done in your career. Be it you have 1 year experience, 10 years experience, 20 years experience, it just needs to quickly summarize everything in just a few lines. So on my part, I work on a safe between 120 and 150 words for a professional summary. So, with this professional summary, you need to tell us who you are, what problems you're solving in the marketplace, and what is the impact on your delivery. All right. So, do not go saying, "Oh, I went to Kisii University. I have a diploma in what." What we need to see is what problems are you solving in the marketplace, or what is the impact on your delivery. So that's you need. Do not ignore this part, and do not undersell yourself on the professional summary. Then the other part is key skills. So this is where I was talking about where you need to put the keywords or the trigger words. So you need to know in my industry or in my professional, these are the words that will create interest, you know. So I've given you the example of, say, I'm in HR, recruitment, compensation and benefits. Those are some of the keywords that if my CV and I'm a HR, I don't put those words, it means my CV is not able to quickly stand out from a recruitment process. All right. So I'll show you more from a practical perspective. Work experience, you need to put this in bullets. You need to focus on results and impact and not just duties. You need to use strong action verbs. Strong action verbs are, for example, I've given like I led a team of. So you see, that's a verb. Then I built a system. I increased sales by. I reduced expenses by. So this will make you stand out from other than just saying my work is leads promote sales, for example. Then the other one is education and certification. So I like someone a few years ago I met and they said, if you've already gone to the university, your primary school details are not relevant in your CV, and that is true, because we are assuming for you to go to secondary, you must have gone through primary. For you to have earned a diploma, a certificate, a degree, you must have gone through secondary school. So just keep the most recent and the most high profile of your education on your CV. Yes, we know you went to, I like the people of Alliance. They never forget to tell us they went to Alliance. Yes, you went to Alliance, you got an A, but that information is not important on the CV, you know. So, what degree have you done? What master's have you done? What diploma have you done? What certification are you doing? You know, other than bombarding your CV with so many details that are also not relevant. So, what certification, what licenses, these are things that we want to see. All right. Then bold CV tactics that will work in 2025. Start with a personal value proposition. So I've already given you that catchy headline you need to put on your CV, such that I don't need to second guess who you are as a person. This one I'll quickly show you in just a few seconds. And then the micro studies I've talked about, the QR code I've talked about. So something you need to always keep in your mind, you need to tailor every CV for the roles that you're applying for. Do not be this person that you use one CV for a whole year applying for different jobs. You're not getting feedback, and even you're not asking yourself, why am I not getting feedback? It could be because you're not customizing your CV to suit the different roles that you're applying for. And then lead with results. This one I'll show you from the few CVs I want to show you. Use power verbs. This one I've already talked about. Prioritize relevance over history. So use the most relevant experience that you've had. I've seen some people, either some point they had this big job they've worked in. However, maybe in the last 2 years, they either tried consulting, it did not work. Now they want to come back to the job market. So do not emphasize on the consulting bit because it waters down your CV. Then you could say, when I was a manager at what bank, this was my achievements. So you could start with that other than maybe what you've been trying and it failed. And then keep it very short. A CV does not need to be 10 pages. One pager if you are under 3 years of experience, two pager maximum, even if you have 20 years of experience. It needs to fit into 2 pages. All right. So let me show you a few CVs I had prepared so that you can just have a glimpse of what I'm talking about. I'll stop sharing my presentation and then share. So, this a CV we've recently written for one of our clients. So you see the keywords, or we start from the top. So the name is very well clear. It needs to stand out. You need to define who you are from the get go on top of your CV. I hope you're able to see my screen. Yes. So you need to clearly define your role or your specialization or your profession on top of your CV so that even before I start scrolling down, I know I'm dealing with a customer experience, operation strategies, payments and systems specialist. So you see, this person because they work in fintech, this is very important to put on top of their CV because probably the role they'll be applying for will be from another fintech organization. So you need to put your contact details correct, your phone number, your email address correct. You need to put the executive summary. So for me, I go safely with between 120 and 150 words. So you could see, and it's visionary, result driven, customer experience, and operational leader, So others here, I normally see, they say, I am 9 years of experience working in the, ra, 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 ra." But this eh, this summary needs to give us a quick glimpse of who you are. So then this section, you can see the trigger words I was talking about. So for us here, we come up with key skills, technical skills, competency skills, just to make sure that your CV has the maximum keywords possible that will be relevant to any role that you apply for. So you see, for like this person, like I'm saying, is in the fintech industry. CRM is going to be something. Remote sensing is something. Data analysis is something. Problem solving, analytics. So these are just keywords that will trigger like an ETS system to shortlist your CV. Then we come to your experience or your work experience. So make sure you put the dates correctly. So a rule of the thumb, forget about the date, but put the month in full and the year. All right. So because from Feb 2024 to current, you're able to quickly know this person has worked for 1 year and 2 months, like 14 months. So even an ATS system is able to quickly translate that in their own language. All right. So, and then when you come to the roles and the roles and responsibilities, make sure your roles are not too many, like 5 6 are safe to play with. I know some people are very tempted to put like 20 roles to show us how busy they are in the organization, but these roles either they are duplicates or they are not relevant, especially to a job application. So just condense them. I know you do so much, but try to condense all of this into very minimal roles. Say work with 5 or 6 at any one point, and make sure that role you're able to put a title to it. For example, like this one is strategic operational planning and execution. That is very straightforward. Team leadership and development. You already know this person is in charge of a team. Resource management and optimization. They manage resources. Process streamlining and cross functional collaboration. So you see, these things, I don't need to calm down and start reading one word by word. But the moment I'm able to read, and also you'll notice I've also put it in bold on this CV, such that these are things I'm able to quickly pick as I skim through the CV. All right. Then the other part, do not forget to put achievements. Because under every role, regardless of what you do, I believe there's some sort of achievement that you've experienced in that role. And rule of the thumb, your achievements have to be measurable. You see, so like this one, they said increased operational efficiency by 20%, reduced material wastage by 15%. So you see, this one, I know this person, if they come to our organization, we are going to see at least 20% of operational efficiency. So you do that for all the roles that you've had on your CV. Uh, so you see, there's a role here, there's another role after a few years, then another role and another role. So you can replicate the same, but now as you go down, because also remember you are working with two pages. After the first roll on your cover page, the rest you could go minimizing them. So you don't put too much details, but uh, just make sure you leave the most important information there. Because remember, we've said we are working with relevance. So maybe there's a role you did, but maybe it was not relevant to this application. You leave it out. All right. So here is the education part. uh, Make sure you put your most recent education, either it's ongoing or you've just graduated, make sure you put them there. Then you put a reference list. Today, this is not important on CVs, but if your CV has a bit of space, you can still put it there. Let me show you another one. This one is for a person who has like over 20 years of experience. And guess what? It fitted in 2 pages. So do not assume that now you have 5 years of experience, you're going to give us 10 pages of a resume. Just condense everything in 2 pages. So, like I was saying, uh, the name needs to be outstanding. Your career path needs to be very defined. So, like this person is in logistics and business development. So, potentially, even the roles or the jobs they're applying for, they should be in logistics and in business development. The contact information is correct. The trigger words I've talked about, these ones you need to keep putting them. And also, you could also keep changing them depending also on the role that you're applying for, just to increase your probability. The executive summary, this one needs to summarize everything that is on your CV. So if you're going to write the CV for yourself, my best advice is write this as the last bit. All right? Do not write it as the first. I know it comes as the first, but when you're writing your CV, write it as the last, because now you'll be able to summarize everything that you've written on your CV. So you've seen the job where they've worked, the roles. Make sure you highlight the key words on your roles. Make sure you don't forget to put achievements, and make sure your achievements are quantifiable. So you do all of this. There's something unique I want to show you. So you see, roles that are over 10 years, they don't have to take space in your CV. So you can just highlight just to show where you or what you mean when you say I have 20 years of experience. Because you see, this one we only highlighted the dates where the role and where they worked. The dates, the role where they worked. So do not be tempted to say, oh, I was this 20 years ago, I need to put a job description of what I was doing. That is not relevant. All right. So the education here, like I was saying, the professional certification, I want to assume everyone needs to have this section on their CV, the professional certification. What makes you profession from a certification point of view? And then you could also add seminars and trainings you've attended, conferences you've attended, put them there. Referee, yes, you can put them there, but it's not important. So also wanted to show you how bad CVs can look like. For example, like this one, based on the two I have already shown you, look at these two. Look at this one. You assume I'm a recruiter. This is not even attractive. It's not organized. I'll need to keep going down, going up just to make sure I get the information that they're trying to give us to us. So, and I know a lot of CVs are written this way. So you need to bring your CV to the new age design. So, and also I wanted to also show this, and this is a one pager. This is not a very experienced person. They've worked maybe for 1, 2 years. So, but you see, this is a one pager. And let me tell you, and you can see this person is a plumber, you know. So it doesn't matter whether you're like on top of what do I want to say? Like all careers can fit into a job, into a CV. So don't say, oh, I don't do this, or I'm this, that's why I can't have a CV. Yes, you can have a CV regardless of the job that you do. And also you can also present it in a good manner. So you see, like this one, not very experienced, still like an entry level point, but you see, plumbing, construction expertise. So these one, even they don't work in offices, they work in sites. But you see, assume this person comes to your construction site with a CV like this, you'll be like, this person has made an effort. Let me just listen to what they're saying, or at least I can wave, I'm able to give them a job also. So that is on the part of the CVs. So let's continue with our presentation. I'll go back to my presentation now. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them as we continue, or if you can also put them on the chat box. I'm happy just to engage you as we continue. Yes, Joanne, I'm just going to answer your question now. Do you need a presence on LinkedIn? I've recently skimmed a few doctors' LinkedIn and they're silent, yet they are renowned for the expertise and experience. All right, so let's move to LinkedIn. Oh, no. Before we move to LinkedIn, let's move to cover letters, because they quickly go hand in hand with CVs. So your cover letter, and I know some people keep asking, are cover letters important? Do I need to write a cover letter? Yes, you need to write a cover letter. Because today, in the ideal age, cover letter, especially if you're sending your application online, is what will be like the about you page on that application. Or, for example, if you're going to send it on email, your cover letter is what is going to be in the body of the email. So it is important to have it. Do not have the same cover letter for all the jobs that you are applying for. Make sure your cover letter is giving a story of either how you got there or what you can do for this organization, your expertise. Your cover letter needs to show some sort of personality, passion. It needs, by reading your cover letter, I need to somehow have a figurative image of who you are. All right. So this is what gets into the cover letter. 4 parts. Do not forget to put all of this. Number one, the hook or the introduction, or how you are going to open your cover letter. So, for example, I've given here, when I saw an opening on growth marketing manager, I knew this was my moment. Why? Because I have helped 3 companies go viral. Da, 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 da. So you see, that one already is catchy to me as a recruiter to read. All right. So that is like, or I'll show you a sample cover letter I've already come up with, and I think we'll go in details at that point. Number two, value. What are you bringing to the table? What are your accomplishments in the last 2, 3 jobs you've already done? How are you going to move our company from the level that we are to the next level? So you could even say, in my previous role at XYZ, I led a product launch team that drove on 20% of revenue. So you see, these are you're dwelling so much now on the values that you're able to bring. Then alignment. How does this role and me as a person, how are we aligned? How am I a fit also in the organization? What, because I'm assuming you don't just apply jobs for the sake of applying jobs. So when you see, for example, a job at ACCUREX, you ask yourself, what is ACCUREX? What are they about? What are their values? What are their principles? What is their mission? Do I align to that mission or that value? So then you need to align that, and this needs to be on the cover letter. Then finally is the closure. Make sure all the cover letter has a call to action, a CTA, Call to action is I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know when is the most appropriate time to get on a call and discuss my qualification, my competency to you. So you see, you're not leaving that cover letter hanging. So by the time I'm reading your cover letter and I come to the end, I feel like, oh, I need to call her. Oh, I need to set up a meeting and discuss these persons and how they fit to our organization. So ideally, that is what gets into the cover letter. So with cover letter, please be specific. Do not be generic. The fact that you are applying for HR jobs, do not assume all are HR jobs because you'll see, yes, there are HR jobs, but one is HR manager, HR officer, HR business partner, HR generalist, HR director. So you see, but if you work with one CV fits all, potentially it will go with HR officer. Yet this is a HR director role you're applying for. So quickly, from a recruiter perspective, I feel like you did not make any effort to make your application stand out. Then tell a story. Tell us, how did you get here? Don't use these boring cover letters that just say, "Oh, I graduated from da 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 with a become. I did what I did what." Just give us a story that made you get here, and then match the tone with company culture. And I think, especially for many organizations today, they've made quite an effort to showcase their culture on their websites. So, have you visited our website? Have you seen what we are all about? Then, can you match that with the tone that you're going to put on your CV? Then reference the company values and news, see what they are doing recently, see what they are, for example, I'm assuming, for example, like now we are recruiting trainers. So if you visit our website, you'll see we've delivered 10 webinars in the last 10 weeks. So you'll be like, oh, I've seen you did this. I'll be very excited to be the part and parcel of the next training team in the next cohort. So you see, you're making your application relevant. So what am I talking about? So this is another CV I want, not a CV, a cover letter I want to show you. Yes, so this is a sample cover letter I had come up with. So you see, your address, your phone number, everything will come there. Do not forget to put a date to your application. Then the hiring company details, if you have them. If you don't, you can just maybe quote just the name and then the subject. So this subject part is it has to be in line with the job that you're applying for. So, and that is why I was saying you cannot use the same cover letter for all the jobs that you're applying for. So, for example, if this job title is operations manager, it needs to be operations manager. If, for example, the next job is operations coordinator, I need to come back and edit it. Then you put the hiring, the salutations here. So you can see here, this is the hook or the first part that you want to put. So when I came across the job opportunity at I immediately knew that this role was a perfect match for both my skills and passion for this industry. Having built a personal brand around driving impact, so it could be operational efficiency and all of that, I'm excited about exploring the possibility of contributing the energy and expertise to your team. So here is where you come and talk about the value that you'll bring in. So the value could be in what you've already done and achieved before. So you can put it there. Then, more importantly, I'm drawn to your company because now this is where you align yourself with the company values, uh, mission, vision, and all of that. So this is where you say, so I'm drawn to your company because of the commitment to, say, customer satisfaction and all of that. The focus on value reflects on the same principles that have shaped my career path. Then you put all of that. All right. Then beyond my technical skills. So what makes you a person or a human apart from that degree you have, that 10 years of experience that you have, then you need to input it at that point. So you could say, this is what I believe, and this is what is going to make me become relevant at this role. And then now we come to the closing. I'll be thrilled to, and this is where the CTA comes, the call to action. I'll be thrilled to explore my background, my passion, and future goals aligned with your company vision. I'm available at your convenience for a conversation, and I'd like the chance to contribute to the overall success. So you see, from a recruiter, if I read this, by the time I'm getting here, you've already caught my attention. So I'll be like, hey, then I need to see their CV. Then I need to go and check out their LinkedIn profile. So these are some of the things that you need to consider when coming up with a cover letter, and make sure it's not like make sure you're able to customize it based also on the job that you're applying for. All right. So now let's move to LinkedIn, and then I think John will answer your question at that point about LinkedIn, how important and how relevant they are. So personally, I think LinkedIn is very important to have, and not just for the sake of it, but also for just positioning yourself. I know, like, I want to assume, like, maybe the question might be coming from some people have actually, I want to assume, especially the older generation, they built their brand even before they built their brand even before technology came into play, like the LinkedIn's, the what, before they came to play. And that is what they're eating on. Because if you can remember when you were starting, we said a brand is built over time. So, but I'm assuming if you're now building your brand now, you cannot build it outside of technology or social media. You have to build it within it. But let's first see what it means to get into cover letter. No, to LinkedIn profiles. I'll show you a few profiles that I've seen around, and then we can discuss about them as we continue. Let me just confirm. Yes. All right. So, what is LinkedIn profile? And I feel like a lot of people are not very confident on putting themselves out there, especially from a career professional point of view. And that is why you'll find maybe someone just updated their LinkedIn maybe 5 years ago and they left it, or they just put very scanty details without much of an interaction there, and they just leave it there. So remember today, especially me as a recruiter, the person, for example, even I come across your CV, maybe even sent it to our email address randomly too. The first place I'll go to look for you is on LinkedIn. I want to see what are you all about, what comments are you liking, what comments are you leaving. So that's the space of LinkedIn. So your LinkedIn profile needs to create a very powerful first impression. And you also LinkedIn, I know there are ways you hide your profile. If you're serious about building your brand, then this information needs to be out there in the public. So do not hide some features of your LinkedIn, such that if I Google you, I only see your name, but I don't see anything. So if you've decided to go public, just go public with all of it. So LinkedIn, a few things you need to consider. Number one is the headliner. I'll show you from a practical point of view. The headliner is what comes immediately where your photo is. There's the background. There's the like the first lines there. There's the either your education where you're working. That's where the headliner comes. And this one you need to make sure it is catchy. It is standing out from the word go. All right. Then the about you section. So this about you section, you need to make it as human as possible, because you already have your CV that makes you look like this big serious profession. But from a LinkedIn perspective, we need to see you from a humanistic point of view. So tell us stories. How did you get there? What made you make the decision to be in the career that you made? What is motivating you to work where you're working? What are your drivers and all of that? So Then the experience section, show results. And I think this will be should be your biggest takeaway from this webinar this morning, that you need to be able to show results and not just what you can do. Yes, I'm able to do this, but what is the impact? What is the results that I get from doing what I'm doing? Then the featured section, this is the digital portfolio. There you can put blogs, you can put videos, you can put your certificates, you can do all these short courses you're doing online. This is the place to put all those certificates there. Because now you're able to actually see the effort that you're making. You do maybe a CSR, put the photos there, Then finally, the skills, endorsements, and recommendations. Do not ignore this part. I know it's the last bit normally on a LinkedIn profile, but do not ignore it, because the skills, these relevant skills are the trigger words also. So I might go through your LinkedIn profile. I'm not able to really see, or I'm not able to pick who you are. But if I go to the skills section, I might see the skills that I'm looking for. Then make sure you ask for recommendations, either from your past colleagues, people you've worked on different projects. Let them give you recommendations, and then be very keen also to endorse other people for recommendations as well. So let's quickly go through a few LinkedIn profiles and then we continue. So on my screen now, I was going through just what can make a good LinkedIn. So this one I saw a summary of a few. So this is what I was talking about. So make sure you have a proper headshot for your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you also have a banner at the back. The banner needs to be very relatable to what you do or what you're all about. So here's the name I was talking about. Uh, this is the header. So you could put either your skills, where you're working, what you can do for people. This is the education part. This is the connections that you have. So this one you need to be very clear about, because actually this is the first thing that will pop out if if anyone was to look for you on LinkedIn. So there was that. Then we come to the about section. This is the about page. So the about page, you could start with something catchy. It does not necessarily need to start by saying, "Oh, my name is Purity. I have 10 years of experience. I'm in HR." So you could say, "Did you know that in HR, human beings are da 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 da?" So that's, and also use storytelling. Of late, storytelling has become one big skill that is required almost in all facets of life. So you could also try to use that. So you could come to the about page, explain your about, what you do, what potential collaborations, people you will potentially want to work for. This is the featured section I was talking about, where you can come and put now the webinars you've attended, the seminars you are doing, things that you're even doing out of work, but they're related to work. So this is the place you can put them there. So this is the activity section, and this is what I was saying. You also need to be very keen on the types of comments, likes, things that you're the online trail that you're leaving behind. Because you see, if I come to your LinkedIn profile, this is something I'll also see. That I'll see, oh, she commented on this, or she liked this post, she retweeted, or she reposted this post. So this is also another part that you need to be very careful with. All right. Then you need to work on your connections. With connections, try as much as possible to keep also your connections close. Close to mean you're connected to people in the same industry or the same interest, because also that's where you also are able to be quickly noticed. All right. Then there's the skills and experience part. So this experience, so I know some people either don't want to put all their jobs, put everything there. I think the best rule of thumb is to put everything there. Because now, if when you say you have 10 years of experience, but we're only seeing your last job that you worked for 2 years, so you see, we are not able to. quantify how you're saying on your about page that you have 10 years, but on your skills you're only seeing 2 years. So I think the rule of thumb, if you're going with 10 years, let us see all the 10 years of your experience. So here are the skills and the endorsements. Make sure you are able to quickly put the relevant skills that are relevant to your career. All right. That is the skills. Ask people for endorsements to endorse you that you are able to do this, or you have these particular skills. And then finally is the recommendations. So it is as good as giving recommendations, but also receiving recommendations. So feel free to give people recommendations. Feel free to also ask for recommendations, because now these ones will not become like your recommendation letters on LinkedIn, so to say. So that is the first part. This is another one. This one was very interesting. So, like you see, these are just different profiles. Another blogger had just shortlisted them. So you see, like this person, when you enter to their page, this is the first thing that you see. So with assumption, you'll assume this person works in conservancy or green energy, So that is something that is going to be very catchy. So this is the about page that I was talking about. Make it as interesting as possible if you can. I liked this one. It was saying, I was born in Bangladesh. I grew up in New York City. I went to Nashville. So I'd be like, where? See, this person is traveled. I'm a super daisy of comes to cricket and Bollywood and all of this. Currently, I'm working to grow. So see how this person has put the word grow very strategically on their profile, because he could have just said, I'm currently working at Peloton, but I'm working to grow and disrupt the fitness industry. So those are things that makes you interesting. I love my job. I hang out with a lot of tech nerds. So you see, so they're giving you details other than their professional details, but also something interesting about them. So I don't like pushy people. If you are nice, I'll go out of my way to help you. I like to treat people with respect. So you see, this is also they're talking to the values that they hold. So if our organization will like, or we one of our core values is respect, this is someone I'll want to talk to. I enjoy helping people and I love to learn on new technology. Story of my life. So you see, they're not missing out on technology, because that is where the future is actually going to. Then I've traveled to all these places. So they're not putting it here just to brag to you, but just to show how exposed they are. So that is one profile. So I went through quite a number of them. They're very interesting. I can just share these links just to give you an idea of what you can put on the about page. But you need also to start leveraging on storytelling. So don't make yourself this one serious profession online, yet there's so many. So you see, like this one, I liked how the banner of her organization came out very strong. She looks very relaxed. She's in recruitment. So just check what you can do for your LinkedIn profile. All right. So moving on. So I've talked about cover letters. I've talked about CVs. I've talked about LinkedIn pages. So how do we bring all of these to to create some sort of harmony? So that's where I'm leading next, just making sure all of these come together. Because remember, you've put so much effort on coming up with a CV, you've put so much effort to come up with the correct LinkedIn profile, you've put so much effort to come up with a cover letter that you're customizing every so often. But now this becomes like a brand trifecta. So these three things ideally would work together. Not ideally, they must work together. The story that you're giving on your CV should be the same story your cover letter is talking about. It should be the same for your LinkedIn profile. So, with all of this, they need some sort of clarity, credibility, and recall, such that even if I see your LinkedIn, say for example, I'm just headhunting and I come to your LinkedIn first. So if I write to your message on LinkedIn and tell you, can you please send me your resume? Then what I saw on LinkedIn needs to be almost similar to what I'm now going to see on your CV. All right. So these three documents, let's call them documents for the purpose of this webinar, they need to talk the same language. They need to have the same tone. They need to have the same personality, so to say. So they need to, you need to actually work at them in harmony. All right. So don't work on your cover letter, forget about it. Then 3 months, come work on your CV, forget about it. Then another 6 months on your LinkedIn. The best rule of thumb, when you decide to work on them, you work on them at a go, such that also maybe the same spirit you are using will be able to be quickly translated in all of this. So make sure your CV is clean, strategic, it has the keywords, it has the focus on results. Your cover letter is very human. Cover letter and the about page, yeah, LinkedIn, they need to show you as a human and not as this serious profession. Uh, then LinkedIn, it has to have visuals. You need to show your personality. So take a few videos on your game night at your workplace, put it there, just show us who you are, even within a professional setting. So these three things, you need to align them. And the best way is when you work on them in harmony. Then building an authentic online presence. I know today online is having this reputation. There's a lot of fakeness. There's a lot of ingenuity around, especially how people are positioning themselves online. So, but you need to build some sort of authenticity on also what you put online. Like, and I believe that's what I said when I was starting. When you meet your celebrities in person, you get very disappointed because you'll be like, I thought this person was charming, I thought this person was likable. But in person, because that's a face they've already put for us out there, which is very different for who they are in person. So it's, you need to build some sort of authenticity. So, and how do you build this? So choose your niche. What do you want to be identified for? Me personally, I love training. So anything to do with training, let me be associated with it. But there's so many other things around HR that I'm also good at. But the one thing want to be associated with is training, for example. Be intentional. Don't just be active, be intentional. What thoughts are you putting out there? What image are you also trying to build over time? Because like I've said, for LinkedIn, you like a comment, we'll see it on your page. You put a comment, we see it. So are you intentional about also what is going out on those pages? Do not chase perfection, because I think with online, there's this facade or this misconception that you have to be perfect. I don't think so. Just make sure that your image is coming out, it's clear and it's consistent, and also build slowly but truthfully. So I know maybe, for example, if your LinkedIn profile is dormant, to be like, hey, starting from now, I'll be commenting every 2 hours. No, 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 no. Just build slowly but truthfully. With time, you're able to get that visibility that you want. Now, let's talk about networking and job reviews. So, you've done all of these. Maybe you're out to look for a job, or you're a consultant. You're also out to look for a job anyway, or you work in the gig economy, so you're also out looking for a job. Number one thing to note: only like 15% of jobs gets advertised, and that is the truth. A lot of jobs go unadvertised, a lot of them, and in this case, is 85% of jobs go unadvertised. So what does that tell you? Me, Purity, I'll know there's an opening somewhere, but I'll only tell you because I'm able to see you. That's where now the online visibility comes in. So maybe I've just been seeing you talking about green energy, da, 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 what are we doing, or in the economy around the green energy. Then an opening comes up in green energy. Who do you think I'll reach out to too fast? Even before I publish or advertise for that job, I'll talk to, say, Susan. Susan Kukonai job, but I always see you putting comments on green energy. Is this something you'll be interested to see? So that is the space of how jobs ideally would look like. So majority of the jobs that even that you see online, imagine those, that is just a very small percentage of the jobs that are available. Because also remember, referral system has a better return on investment than advertised jobs. So I'll trust someone who comes to me via referral than someone that I randomly picked from a job search. So then now that needs to make you curious. What can I do to position myself? And recruiters were always actively looking. Some jobs are available, or some others we just anticipate. So, for example, you could hear, there's this company coming to Kenya in like 6 months. So, as a recruiter, I'll start looking for candidates even before that company lands here. So, by the time they're landing and opening their offices, they will have already hired a whole team. But you see, we did not feel the need to advertise because we knew if we looked slowly, there's someone who's bound to pick our interest. So LinkedIn is a networking engine. So LinkedIn has these very amazing groups, industry-based groups. So join them, make comments, make noise in those groups, because that's the only way you're able to bring your profile or visibility up. Follow thought leaders and companies, which are companies that you admire, which are the thought leaders you admire and follow. Follow them, pick different ideas from different people, connect with intention. Don't just add people, because someone else, we worked on their LinkedIn profile a few months ago, and I want to assume this is what the mistake she made. She went adding because she wanted to increase her followers on LinkedIn. So eventually her LinkedIn got blocked out. So then I asked her, what were you doing to get your LinkedIn blocked out? And I wanted to get 10,000 followers. So I just went asking for people to follow, to follow, to follow. I was like, that is what made you get blocked out. Because your connection needs to be very close knit. So it's either your alumni, people you went to school with, people you've worked with before, companies you think you'll want to work for you. Those are the people that you follow, not just everyone and everyone, because now your profile might be picked up as a spam profile. So now we are coming to the end of the webinar this morning. And I wanted, if anyone is open, we can do a review of their CV or their LinkedIn profile if you want. Anyone, I can spare 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes just to do a review. If not, we can also side chat. I can review for you on the side. I'm now happy to take any questions if there are. So, what is it that you're leaving this webinar with this morning? So, what have you been motivated to do about your personal brand? Is it to update your LinkedIn profile? Is it to update your about page? Is it to run your CV through an ETS system? Is it to create a personal pitch? Or even, do you have an elevator pitch for yourself? Assume you met me in an elevator somewhere and you know Purity is the person who connects people to jobs. What can you be able to tell me about yourself in 30 seconds? Because that's an elevator pitch. Because sometimes we come through opportunities, and for sure they are the ones in a lifetime kind of opportunities. But this person, you meet them and you miss them at the same breath. So, what is it that this webinar is calling you to do even after this webinar? So, just before I start taking questions, we've given you a workbook. I believe it's on the chat box now. You can check on it. There's a workbook that you can go start working on your personal branding. It also has an ATS, an AI cheat sheet on the workbook, so you can also download it from there. You can, what else did we have? So those are the two materials we've given you. We'll give you this presentation if you want to do a follow-up. Sheila, I see your hand is up. Please. Sheila, hi. Okay, on the chat. Okay, yes, I see it. Let me just share it. This is very bold of you, Sheila. Yes, 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 yes. Let's see. So Sheila is among the bold ones. Let's see what she has. So there's Sheila Catherine Nyambugi, right? Award-winning founder of Nilish, 10 years plus experience. This I like a lot. Empowering communities with maternal health. This one I like a lot. I'll prefer if you have a closer headshot, like your face comes a bit on the front, so that I'm not forced to like do what I believe you're seeing my screen, right? I'm not forced to do that. This one needs to come out naturally that way. You need to put a banner here on the background. Uh, so let's see the about. I'm a nurse by training, but my path has taken me through branding. All right, I like this. I started out as in clinical works, then built creative agencies in Kenya. All right, what lights me up? This I like a lot because you're giving us a story of what has gotten you here. Right now, I'm looking for part-time remote work that connects with this mission, something in health innovation, nutrition. If you're building something that aligns, we'd love to chat. I like this part because now you left us with a call to action. All right. So, services, these are the services you offer, right? Research skills, strategic planning, brand consulting, project management. Let me see all of them. So, you need to add more of the services, remote or in person. Okay, this is okay. Yes. So this is the activity, and this is what I was talking about. So you see, like Sheila, for you, I feel like you're very intentional. What is an IMP? MNP. So you see, you're trying to give us or try to engage us. Let me see. So these are different like activities you've been doing. So these are the posts you've been posting. So you see, they're very in line with your career path, or not that I want to assume you're in medical health or something, yeah. But you see, that's an assumption that I make from a quick glance of your profile. So then I'll move to comments, just see where you're making your comments. Okay, thank you, congratulations. So images, let me see what kind of images you have, or these are from the comments. So this one, Nilishe, doesn't it not have like a logo or something on it? Yes, because from here I'm able to quickly have a backlink to it. And then Nilisha is a social. I started working. Okay, this is okay. A brand strategy lead. Okay, can you put more details and or maybe more achievements and quantify the achievements? So put a number to it. Like you see here with 16 years of experience, but put a number to it. All right. Then all of this education. Make sure you tag your correct university. I think Kenya Methodist has like the logo and everything. So these are the licenses. Yeah, make sure you tag it correctly. Volunteering the skills. This is the skills I was talking about. So you need to add more skills. Ah, you have over 50. Where? You're serious? So these are the different skills that Sheila has. Let me see. Publications. Have you done any publications? Okay. Then interest, companies, what. So what your profile is missing at this point is recommendations. So you need to ask a few people to give you recommendations. You need to also give recommendations. just to make your profile complete. So I'm happy with what it is as of now, but I'll want to see, especially on the experience part, to see on what you can do or what you have achieved in the different roles that you've been undertaking. But very good job so far. Get a closer headshot, which I think you can also edit this. Ikaribie too, such that I don't need to zoom to see you. And also put a proper banner. I liked this profile. Let me show you. This is a profile we've been recently working on. She's also in the medical field, but she's in data. So you see, her profile is big data in healthcare. So even before you think or want, even before you proceed to her profile, you already know this is a data person, but working in the healthcare industry. So just that. Let me see. Have you been? Oh, you want to share your screen? I see your CV. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Leila, I see your hand is up. Let's do to Iona because we are a learning lesson. Mm. Oh, wewe ni wa kuongeza tu. Yeah, you might get blocked because people LinkedIn might pick you as a spam. Okay, no worries. So make sure you download the workbook. Make sure you give us feedback on this session. If yes, now I think you're sharing. Oh, nice. Okay, let's go through it. Bridging clinical insights with creative strategy to advance public health in Africa. That is very bold, especially that that statement up there. Uh, Let me see, strategic health and nutrition community specialist, uh, registered nurse, turned award winning with plus 10 plus years. That I like. I feel like you've gone very bold at it. Founder Nilisha Nutrition Social Venture. Okay. Launched award winning. What? What are the achievements? You're missing achievements. Opportunity below, like the founder, you need to have a section for achievements. Go down, let me see, co-founder and brand strategist, Buttonhead agency. Is it a one pager or a two pager? Okay. Reference upon request, go down. Uh, okay, and then education, professional certification, selected projects and impacts, and affiliations. So, what I will, if I were you in this case, you see that part from Eburu Diju Kidogo, from education, I'll have moved it to the left. You see that blank space you have on the left? Yes, I'll have moved it to that part such that now go back to the first page. You see, like the first role, this one founder Nilishe, you make it comprehensive such that that founder role fills in your page one. Yes, so that you have proper headings, then explanations, proper headings, explanations. You saw the CV I gave as an example. Yes, such that ijaze hiyo page one vizuri. Then at the end you put maybe two or three key achievements at the bottom. So such that it looks like that's your current role, that's what you are all about. I'll also want to increase, go up a bit. I'll also want to increase my professional summary, make it more comprehensive also, make it exciting. Yes, you've put in the correct words, but add just a bit of content. Yeah, I like. So you see for your LinkedIn profile, unaona iko na hizo numbers hapo nyuma, Sheila dash Nyabugi dash numbers. If you go back to LinkedIn profile, you can edit that URL such that your URL inakuja bila numbers. So it just comes LinkedIn, your name only. So go down. I see you have the skills section. The languages is not important unless it's like a language like that is not English and Kiswahili. That is not important. So also on the skills, maybe you can add another set of skills because these are hard skills that you have. These are public health. Those are hard skills. So we also want, what are your soft skills? Are you good at organization? Are you good at analytics? So you can have, like from the CV that I previously shown. You see, we have key competencies, yes, hard skills, technical skills, just to make sure your CV has enough. What are they called? The trigger words or the keywords. Eh? Yes. So if you don't want to provide references on your CV, then it's not worth mentioning. So leave out that section. So just move all that education and everything else to the left. Then now make these roles very comprehensive. Yes. So I think that would be my initial thought, but very bold. My initial instinct, if I see your CV today, I'll not think you have 10 years of experience because it looks shallow in terms of words. But to make it 10 years of experience, then you need to add a bit of depth to it. Sawa. All right, that was Sheila. Very bold of you. Thank you. I came very suspicious if anyone would want me to review. But thank you for motivating me even to put that section there. So, as I've said, we're just coming to the end of the webinar. And so, for those of us who are hearing about us for the first time, we are ACCUREX. We are a HR training and consulting company. Oh, before I get there, I had put a quote here. You're not just job seeking, you're brand building. And the future belongs to those who show up boldly. Like Sheila, very bold. I like you've really gone out to work on your CV, you've worked on your LinkedIn profile. So I feel like with a bit of adjustments here and there, you are going to get it. I'm happy to review it for you again once you do a bit of work, and then we can pick this conversation even after. So, as I was saying, the company that is bringing to you this webinar this morning is ACCUREX. We started in 2016. Look at what 10 years can do. So we do training, we do team buildings, we do recruitment, outsourcing. If you're looking for a job, talk to us. We are happy to connect you with the possible jobs that are available. We have a HRIS system. It's called People HRIS. We do payroll management for companies. We do offshoring. We do employer of record and even consulting. So just look on how you're able to plug and partner with us. So these are our contacts. Feel free to reach out to us, even if it's just to do a basic review of your CV, give you our thoughts on it, on how you can scale up to the next level. Uh, so feel free to reach out to us. We are always happy to bring you these webinars. Our webinar series is coming back starting again on Wednesday next week on at 11 to midday or midday and a half thereabout. And we'll be talking about change. So how do you manage change? How do we lead through change? So that is what we've prepared for you. I believe there are no any other questions. I can just quickly check. Yes, Caleb, you're saying I've been motivated to update my LinkedIn and the aspect of having a harmony between LinkedIn and your CV. So thank you so much for everyone who was able to join us. Apologies again that we delayed in starting, and a bit of technical hitches. I think the reminders are not sent out on time and all of that. But apologies, we plan and endeavor to do better. Make sure you give us feedback. There's a feedback form running on the chat box. Yes, Leila, you're saying, how do I get you Purity to do a review? I'm not able to project using the phone. That's okay. Leila, you have our office line, so just drop a message there. Someone will pick up that conversation from there. I'll definitely get in touch. That is Joyce. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. So thank you too. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you for indulging us on your Saturday. I know it's not our norm, but we felt like we needed to get this out of our way. So thank you so much. And until next time, have a wonderful Saturday and enjoy your weekend.